Yo, what's good? Ever wonder why a lot of folks seem to kind of fade out after hitting 80? Like, even people who were sharp as a tack, living their best life just a few years back, start to slow down. Most people just chalk it up to genetics or luck, like, oh, that's just how it goes when you get old. But nah, that ain't the whole deal. Today, we're gonna dig into 5 sneaky reasons, stuff that's super overlooked and hardly ever talked about, that explain why a lot of older folks struggle to keep thriving past 80. These ain't your usual culprits like what you eat, smoking, or hitting the gym. We're talking deeper, more subtle stuff that sneaks under the radar, even for people who've been doing most things right. And here's the dope part. Once you know what's up, you can actually do something about it. So, if you're curious about what's really holding people back from living long and strong after 80, and how you can protect yourself while you still got time, stick with me till the end. These 5 reasons might just flip how you think about aging before it's too late. Let's dive in. Number 1, losing those small social vibes. Alright, one of the first and most slept-on reasons why folks don't make it long past 80 is something called micro-social engagement. And no, it's not some fancy term for your BFF hangouts or big family dinners. Those are still super important, don't get me wrong. But this is about those tiny, no-big-deal interactions that use to pepper your day without you even thinking about it. Picture this. Saying what's good to the mail carrier, cracking a quick joke with the cashier at the grocery store, or giving a nod to the neighbor walking their dog across the street. Those little moments, they weren't just nice. They were legit doing work on your brain and body. They were keeping your nervous system chill, giving you that sense of belonging, and keeping your brain's social circuits fired up and ready to roll. But here's the thing. After 80, a lot of folks start losing those moments. Maybe they stop hitting up the store themselves, or daring stuff online, or getting family to grab things. Maybe their hearing's not what it used to be, so they're not chatting up strangers anymore. Or maybe they just stop stepping outside, because the weather's too chilly, or their knees are acting up. When those little social touch points start fading, something else fades too: your vitality. The crazy part? Most people don't even clock it. They think they're just keeping things simple, living easier. But what's really happening is they're cutting out these low-key social hits that keep your brain sharp, your mood up, and your whole system feeling like it's still part of the world. I've seen dudes in their 80s who stayed on point just because they made it a thing to stroll to the same coffee shop every morning. They'd say yo to the same baristas, nod at the same 3 people on the block. That 5-minute vibe wasn't just a routine. It was like their life's secret sauce. It gave their day some shape, kept them accountable, made them feel seen. When those moments disappear, it's not just a bummer. It messes with you on a biological level. Loneliness, even the low-key kind, stresses your brain out. It messes with your hormones, ramps up inflammation, and tanks your immune system. Worst of all, it starts shrinking the parts of your brain that handle memory, focus, and keeping your emotions in check. Straight up, it makes you feel older faster. So, if you've noticed you're not chatting with folks as much during the day, or you've stopped running small errands, or you're feeling kinda invisible in your neighborhood, it's time to switch that up. Those little connections, even the ones that seem like no big deal, are telling your brain and body, yo, you still matter. You're still in the game. That's some of the most powerful medicine for staying alive, not just in years, but in spirit. Number 2, being too careful and sitting still. Alright, another sneaky reason a lot of folks don't keep rocking past 80 is something that sounds like a smart move, but can backfire big time. Being overly cautious. Like, it starts with good intentions. Maybe you took a tumble on the stairs once, or almost lost your balance on a wonky sidewalk, so you decide to chill on walking outside. You stop bending down to grab stuff off low shelves or climbing into the back seat of a car. You're sitting more, and you're staying sat longer. People around you are like, yo, good call, don't push it. Take it easy. But before you know it, your life's super safe, but also super still. Here's the real talk nobody's giving you. When you stop moving, you lose strength. Not just in your arms or legs, but in your coordination, your balance, your whole inner vibe. Your body ain't a machine that stays cool just by resting. It's more like a garden that needs constant tending. When you cut back on movement, things don't just stay the same, they start falling apart. One of the first places it hits? Your core. Those deep trunk muscles are clutch for everything. Standing, walking, lifting, even get up out of a chair. If you stop using them, even for just a few weeks, they shrink. And when they shrink, your balance takes a hit. You start wobbling, and that just makes the whole cycle worse. I knew this dude, Walter, 82 years young, who used to take a mile-long walk every evening. Then he slipped on a rainy day. No broken bones, just a scare. But that scare was enough to shut it down. He went from walking every night to kicking it on the couch, watching TV most evenings. 6 months later, he'd lost 10 pounds of muscle. His legs felt like jello, and his doc was giving him warnings. Walter didn't stop because he was weak. He got weak because he stopped. Now, I'm not saying you should ignore real risks. There's smart ways to stay safe, like using handrails, rocking sturdy shoes, clearing your walkways, or even using a cane if it helps. But there's a big difference between managing risk and giving up on it. When fear starts calling the shots, your body forgets how to move, period. So, if you're doing less, not because you can't, but because you're worried about what might happen, listen up. Ask yourself, am I protecting myself, or am I slowly ghosting my own life? Because staying alive past 80 ain't just about not fouling. It's about keeping it moving, even if it's slower, more careful, more deliberate. Movement's how your body remembers it's still needed. It's how your systems stay online, how your brain stays sharp, and how your heart keeps pumping with purpose. Yo, if you're vibing with this and finding it helpful, drop a 2 in the comments to let me know you're here. Let's keep this rolling. Number 3, messing up your sleep with weird light vibes. Alright, there's this silent clock inside you that doesn't tick but runs pretty much everything. Your mood, your metabolism, your immune system, even how your brain patches itself up at night. After 80, this internal clock, your circadian rhythm, gets real sensitive. One of the biggest ways it gets thrown off, not getting enough light during the day and getting too much at night. You might not even notice it at first. Maybe you're napping more in the afternoon, dozing off in that sunny armchair. Or maybe you're not stepping outside as much, especially when it's cold out. At night, you might be glued to the TV or keeping the lights blazing while you read or watch a movie. Each of those seems chill, but together, they're messing with your body's sense of when to be up and when to crash. Your body needs natural light to stay on track. That bright morning sun, it's like a wake-up call to your brain, telling it to get moving and send energy where it's needed. Darkness at night, that's the signal for melatonin, that chill hormone that gets you ready for deep, healing sleep. But if you're not catching enough daylight, or your nights are lit up with screens or lamps, your body signals get all scrambled. You might struggle to fall asleep or wake up feeling groggy even after 8 hours. Your energy might be dragging, or your memory might feel a bit foggy. Over time, that messed up sleep doesn't just tank your vibe, it weakens your immune system, makes your mood less steady, and even ups the risk of your brain slipping. Plus, there's the whole vitamin D thing. Your body makes it when your skin soaks up sunlight, but after 80, that process slows down, so getting outside becomes even more clutch. Without it, your bones, muscles, and immune system take a hit. I talked to this lady, Helen, 84, who was feeling super tired and out of it. Her blood work was fine, diet was solid, no new meds. Her doc told her to just sit by an open window for 20 minutes every morning and ditch screens an hour before bed. 2 weeks later, her sleep was better, her memory was sharper, and her mood was popping. It wasn't some magic pill, it was light. So, if you're spending most of your time indoors with the curtains shut, or your nights are all about that blue light from your phone or TV, it's time to flip the script. Get outside within an hour of waking up, even if it's just chilling on your porch for a few minutes. Let your eyes and skin soak up that morning glow. At night, dim those lights and ease into the dark. These little rhythms ain't just comfy, they're survival. Your body doesn't just get old from wear and tear, it gets old when its systems are out of whack. Getting your light cues and sleep schedule back on track, that's how you tell your body, even at 85, yo, we're still in business. We're still rolling. Number 4, bottling up emotions from loss and loneliness. By the time you hit your 80s, you've probably dealt with more loss than most younger folks can even wrap their heads around. Could be a spouse, a sibling, a lifelong homie, maybe even a kid. The world might toss you some sympathy, but what nobody really talks about is how all that loss piles up, not just in your memories, but in your body. What happens after 80 ain't just grief, it's emotional suppression. It's that quiet habit of swallowing the pain instead of letting out, putting on a tough face because you feel like you should be over it by now, or because there's no one left who really gets how deep it cuts. But real talk, your body doesn't forget. When you don't process grief, when you don't talk it out, share it, or let yourself feel it, it doesn't just vanish. It gets stored like baggage you're carrying around. Over time, that emotional weight turns physical. It messes with your immune system, your digestion, your sleep. It tweaks your hormones and keeps your nervous system in a constant low-key stress mode. The wild part? It's sneaky. You might look calm on the outside, maybe even tell folks you're fine. But if your shoulders feel heavier, your breathing's a bit shallow, or your sparks dim just a little, grief might be the culprit, even if you haven't talked about it in years. I knew this guy, George, 86, who lost his wife of 60 years. He didn't cry much, said it wasn't his thing, said he was holding up all right. But within a year, he'd lost weight, stopped hitting up the senior center, and couldn't sleep. Not cause he was sick, but cause his body was carrying sorrow he never let out. Emotional pain doesn't gotta be loud to do damage. By the time it shows up in your health, you might not even connect the dots. What keeps folks kicking past 80 ain't just physical strength, it's letting those emotions breathe. It's having safe ways to let out sadness, fear, or loneliness. It's being able to say, man, I miss her, or I'm still pissed, or I feel alone, without feeling judged. That kind of release lets your heart breathe again. And when your heart breathes, your body can heal. People who live long usually got some kind of outlet, maybe a ride or die friend, a journal, faith, a community group, or even a therapist to help unpack decades of stories. The point is, what you let out can transform. What you bury, that festers. So, if you've been holding stuff in, not because you want to, but because you don't know where to put it, it's time to make space. Not just for your feelings, but for your life. Because real talk, your heart can only carry so much before it starts to quietly shut down. If you want to thrive past 80, not just breathing, but alive, you gotta let it feel. If this is hitting home, drop a 4 in the comments to let me know you're feeling it. Let's keep going. Number 5, losing that daily spark. One of the sneakiest reasons folks don't keep thriving past 80 is the slow fade of something we take for granted till it's gone. Daily purpose. Not some big, deep, what's the meaning of life kind of purpose, but the simple stuff. The kind of thing that gets you out of bed in the morning with a reason to move, a place to go, or someone to connect with. It doesn't gotta be huge. Could be watering your plant before the sun gets too hot, feeding the neighborhood cat that chills by your door, writing a letter to your granddaughter, or fixing that squeaky hinge on the back gate. But when those little routines start slipping away, when your mornings got nothing to do and your evenings feel empty, something inside starts to shut down. Your body listens to your mind. When your mind's like, ain't no reason to keep pushing, your body's like, bet I'll slow down too. Your appetite might dip, your movement slows, and your health system start going quiet, not because they're broken, but because they're waiting for a reason to turn back on. It's easy to miss because it happens so slow. Maybe your weekly card game got canceled, or your church group stopped meeting. Maybe your family's not coming around as much, or your old volunteer gig ended when your knees started acting up. You tell yourself it's just part of getting older, but deep down, you feel it. The days blend in together, each one quieter than the last. I met this woman, Ruth, 88, who was more alive than folks half her age. She wasn't rich, wasn't in perfect health, didn't have a big family around. But she had routine. Every Monday, she wrote postcards to shut-ins from her church. Every Thursday, she made soup and froze it for a local shelter. Every day around 4 p.m., she posted up by her window to watch the neighborhood kids walk home from school. She knew their names, waved at M, and they waved back. It wasn't fancy, but it gave her days texture. It gave her heart a rhythm. It gave her life a thread to hold on to. That's the secret sauce. Your body stays alive as long as it feels needed. Purpose, even the small kind, is like fuel. It tells your cells to keep fixing themselves, your organs to keep doing their thing, your brain to keep learning. When you lose that sense of matter, when you feel like your presence doesn't mean much to anyone or anything, the flame starts to flicker. That's why folks who live past 80 with style usually got something anchoring their day. Could be a garden, a pet, a journal, a ritual, a phone call, a quick prayer in the morning. It's not about how big it is. It's about showing up for it. It's knowing that when you open your eyes, there's a reason to get up. So, if you're feeling a little lost, like your days don't have shape or meaning anymore, don't sleep on that. That's not just a mood, it's a signal. Your body's a skin for rhythm again, for structure, for connection, for purpose. 'Cause at the end of the day, living long ain't just about your heart beating. It's about your heart wanting to beat. That quiet drive to keep going, to stay connected, to still matter. That's what carries folks past 80 and into lives that still feel full. Final thoughts. All right, as we wrap this up, I want to hit you with a simple but real truth. Most folks don't fade after 80 because of one big moment. It's not a diagnosis, a fall, or a birthday that flips everything. It's the slow, quiet slip of habits, rhythms, and reasons to stay in the game. These changes are so subtle, so gradual. You might not even notice till something inside feels dimmer than it used to. But here's the good news. Just like those shifts happen slow, you can turn them around slow too. One walk outside, one extra chat with someone at the store, one small stretch in the morning, one thing you do today, not because you gotta, but because it brings structure, connection, or meaning. That's how you start flipping the script. So think back to the 5 reasons we talked about. Which one caught you off guard? Which one hit a little too close to home? And most importantly, which one are you ready to act on? Even in a small way, starting today? 'Cause real talk, you got more power than you think. Not to stop aging, that's gonna happen, but to change how you age. If you stay woke to these quiet shifts, if you guard your rhythms, protect your purpose, and let yourself feel what needs feeling, there's a solid chance you won't just hit 80. You'll live past it fully and deeply, on your terms. Yo, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me one thing you learned today and how you're planning to use it in your life. Your thoughts mean a lot, so don't hold back. Reading your comments keeps me hyped to keep sharing this kind of stuff. If you're feeling this and found it helpful, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and share it with your crew. Thanks for kicking it with me, and I'll catch you in the next one.